Welcome to EDU World Space.
For this question, we've been given n is 15. The sample standard deviation given to us is 120.82. Since the sample size is 15, the degrees of freedom is 14. And since we're finding a 90% confidence interval, alpha in our case would be 0.1. Now using these values, we can find the two critical values from the G table, chi-square alpha by 2 and chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2. Chi-square alpha by 2 would be chi-square 0.05 with degrees of freedom 14. This value, if you look at the G table, would be 23.6848. Chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2 in our case would be chi-square 0.95 with degrees of freedom 14. Looking at the G table, this value is 6.5706. Using these, you can now find the confidence interval for our population variance. This here is the formula for the confidence interval for the population variance. Subbing in the values we have, we get the lower boundary of our confidence interval as this, which is less than equal to the population variance, and the upper boundary for our confidence interval would be this expression here. Now, simplifying this expression we get the lower boundary for our confidence interval as 8628.51 and the upper boundary as 31,102.88. Now that we found the confidence interval for the population variance, we find the confidence interval for the standard deviation, population standard deviation, by taking the square root of the confidence interval for the population variance. To do so, we just take the square root 8628.51 square root of this value. Now this is the lower boundary for the confidence interval for our population standard deviation, and the upper boundary is square root of 31,102.88. Simplifying this, we get 92.8898. My bad. 92.8898 as the lower boundary for a confidence interval, and the upper boundary would be 176.3601. Let me just rewrite this properly. 176.3601 is our upper boundary. Now here we found the confidence interval for the population variance and the population standard deviation.